Close your eyes. You're at the mouth of Havana Bay. In 1760, the air is hot, salty, and it carries a sweet smell of molasses mixed with gunpowder. In front of you, there isn't just a harbor. There's a machine, cannons facing the sea, guards counting every load, warehouses locked tight, narrow streets where gold and sugar move like blood. And beneath the shine are hard truth. This machine runs on control and on people who are trapped. In the next few minutes, I'm taking you inside Havana, scene by scene, so you can see how this city really worked. Now open your eyes. We're going in together. You're on a small boat approaching the bay. The first thing you notice isn't the city, it's the throat. 2 stone forts, one on each side, like open jaws. El Morro on the left, La Punta on the right. Between them, less than 300 meters of water. Every ship that enters passes under these cannons. Nothing comes in unseen. Nothing goes out without permission. Waves strike volcanic rock. Ropes creak. An officer shouts from the wall. He isn't shouting at you, but it feels like he is. Because here, from the very first meter, you're being measured. The boat slips through the mouth of the bay, and you feel the change. The water goes calm, almost still. The salty air thickens, and now there's more. Wet wood, hot tar, and that heavy sweetness of molasses that clings to your lungs. You look to the right. The city opens like an amphitheater. Low houses, red tile roofs, white church towers, and in the middle of it all, stacks, barrels, crates, logs, piled like bones, and people, so many people, moving in a steady rhythm, lifting, dragging, shouting instructions. Havana doesn't sleep. Havana calculates. You step onto a wooden pier. It groans under your feet. A man approaches, a thick leather ledger under his arm. No smile. He opens the book, dips a pen in ink. Where did you come from? What are you bringing? Where are you going? Every answer is written down. Tight handwriting. Every comma matters. That ledger is the first layer of the system. Without it, you don't exist. Without it, your cargo doesn't exist. He closes the book with a dry thud and points to a warehouse. That's where everything goes. But the real control isn't only inside the building. We step in. The heat changes. It's trapped, humid, wood, paper, sweat. Rows of barrels stacked to the ceiling, each one marked with a wax seal and a number. Brown sugar, molasses, tobacco, leather. Some barrels came from Veracruz, others from Cartagena, some from plantations inland. A man in a soaked shirt pushes a wheelbarrow of flour sacks. He stops, wipes sweat from his forehead. He looks at an inspector writing on a clipboard. The inspector doesn't look up. He just says, "A number." The man pushes the wheelbarrow again. Nothing happens here without a number. Nothing leaves without a stamp. And in the corner, under a beam, another book, thicker than the first. This one records everything that enters, everything that stays, everything that leaves. It's the memory of the machine. Stop. Look again. Half the people moving cargo didn't choose to be here. They were brought. Some arrived months ago, others years ago. None of them are leaving. Their sweat is part of the system, just like ink on the page. And everyone knows it. The inspector, the warehouse owner, the whole city. But nobody says it out loud. They point, they write, they keep moving. We leave the warehouse. uneven stone streets, dirty puddles in the shade. The smell shifts: horse urine, rotting fish, wood smoke, and sometimes cheap perfume from an open window. Whitewashed walls peel in the humidity. On a corner, fruit for sale: papaya, bananas, oranges. A woman calls a price, negotiates, wraps fruit in old cloth. She slides a silver coin into a pouch at her waist. 8 reals. It lands against other coins, sharp and clean. Money here isn't abstract. It has weight. It makes noise. It smells like hot metal. You turn a corner. The street widens. A plaza, a stone fountain, running water. Women fill clay jars, balance them on their heads, and walk home without spilling a drop. Nearby, a cart loaded with sugarcane. Thick rope, green leaves still attached. A man cuts a piece, peels it with a knife, chews. Juice runs down his chin. Sweet, always sweet. Havana tastes like sugar, even when you aren't eating. Now we go up, literally. The city isn't flat, slopes, hills, and above it all, the fort. La Cabaña isn't finished in 1760, but El Morro has been here for over 100 years. From up there, you see Havana as it really is. Stone steps, a guard post, a soldier scans you top to bottom. Inside, the smell is old gunpowder, rust, damp stone, boots on rock, orders in Spanish, wind cutting through the battlements. You reach the wall and look down. The bay spreads below you. Anchored ships look like toys. 6 frigates, 2 galleys, a dozen smaller boats, Spanish flags snapping on the masts. And the city, like a board game, a tight grid of streets, plazas like punctuation marks, a cathedral at the center. But what grabs you is motion. Even from here, the city boils. Carts, horses, people on foot, like an anthill working. An officer points to the horizon. Every morning, before dawn, he comes here, searching for sails, because Havana is rich, and everyone knows it. The British know, the French know, pirates know. Whoever arrives first, with enough cannons, can try. But here's the problem. These forts aren't decoration. Bronze cannons face the sea. Powder sits in oak barrels. Soldiers drill every week. Havana is a safe, and the safe is locked. Now listen. Defense is expensive. What pays for it is what sits in warehouses below. Sugar. In 1760, Havana is becoming the sugar capital of the Caribbean. Not the full powerhouse yet, but already hundreds of plantations inland. Molasses, brown sugar, refined sugar, and all of it passes through here. Weighed, stored, taxed, shipped, and at every step, someone takes a cut. The crown, the governor, the inspector, the warehouse owner, the ship's captain. Everyone gets paid, and what remains is still enough to make Havana shine. We come back down to street level. Now we enter the part tourists never see. A low doorway, an inner courtyard, a sugar mill house. The noise is deafening. Huge wooden wheels turning. Oxen walking in endless circles. Cane crushed between rollers. Juice running through wooden channels into copper vats. The smell is so sweet, it turns sickening, and the heat is unbearable. Men feed fresh cane into the rollers. Others stir boiling syrup with long wooden paddles. Foam rises. It's skimmed off. The liquid thickens. Hours later, it becomes sugar. But nobody here will eat it. It goes into barrels. The barrels go to the port. The port sends it to Spain. A man looks at you. His hands are scarred from old burns. He says nothing, but his eyes say everything. You're passing through, he's staying, and he has no choice. Because this city works like that. Some command, some execute, some carry. And carry isn't a metaphor, it's literal. 50-kilo barrels, sacks of flour, logs, stone for construction, on shoulders, in heat, without stopping. Mid-afternoon, the sun is brutal. Light bounces off white walls and hurts your eyes. People hunt for shade. Small shops sell cloth, tools, rope, wax candles. One shop sells only nails, another sells only knives. Specialization, everyone in their square. A leather-aproned man repairs a saddle at his doorway. Waxed thread, a hard pull, a strength test. Satisfied, he hangs it up and grabs another. You pass a tavern. Door open, men drinking rum from tin cups, alcohol and sweat in the air. Cards on the table, coins stacked, voices rising. A man slams his cup and laughs. Others laugh with him, but in the corner, one man doesn't laugh. He watches the door, always watching the door, because in Havana, you never know who's walking in. Afternoon becomes night, fast, orange, pink, purple, then black. The streets change, fruit sellers gone, workers locked away, shops bolt their doors with iron bars. The city grows quieter, not silent. Patrols. On every corner, a guard with a musket and a lantern. Where are you going? If you don't have a good answer, you don't pass. Night in Havana isn't free. It's watched, and anyone not allowed on the street simply isn't there. Locked in barracks, tiny rooms, basements, out of sight, but never out of the system. Because in the morning, they return, carrying, crushing, building, always. You walk back to the port, dark but not completely. Torches on the docks, lanterns swaying on masts, moonlight on still water. The silence is strange. By day, the port was chaos. Now it's mostly water, licking wood, and sometimes a voice, a guard calling another, a drunk sailor searching for his ship, a cat meowing between barrels. You sit on a pile of old rope and look at the city. Black shapes against the sky. Here and there, a window with candlelight. Few. Candles cost money. Nobody wastes them. Most people are in the dark. And in the dark, Havana looks different, smaller, more honest. By day, it sells power, wealth, empire. By night, stone, wood, and exhausted people. But there's a detail you still haven't caught, a detail that explains everything. That ledger at the start wasn't the only one. There are hundreds. In every warehouse, every fort, every customs office, every merchant's house, everything is written down. What came in, what went out, who sold, who bought, what it cost, what it earned. The city runs on paper, and those papers are guarded like gold, because without them, there's no proof, no taxes, no control. Havana isn't only a machine of people and goods, it's a machine of information, and whoever controls information controls everything. So when an inspector writes a number, that isn't bureaucracy, that is power. When a captain hands over a cargo manifest, that isn't formality, that is survival. Because if the numbers don't match, everything stops. No unloading, no warehouse opening, no payments, and someone answers for it. Nothing enters unless it's counted. We walk back through empty streets, past the plaza, the fountain still running, no one there. Past the tavern, closed. past a warehouse locked with a double padlock and a guard at the door. Then a residential street. Bigger houses, 2 stories, wrought iron balconies, carved doors. This is the Havana of the people in charge. Captains, wealthy merchants, crown officials. From a window, music, a harpsichord, light, almost sad. Spanish voices, polite laughter, glasses clinking. A different world, a world that exists only because another world is below it, sweating, carrying, obeying. And this is where we pause, because it's easy to see Havana as scenery, beautiful, exotic, historic. But Havana in 1760 isn't a museum. It's a living gear, violent, efficient. It turns nature into money. It turns people into tools, and it does it so precisely. It feels natural, but it isn't. It's designed, maintained, defended by those who profit, and anyone who tries to change it, run from it, question it, disappears. No long trial, no public explanation, just an order, an updated book, and the machine keeps turning. You return to the edge of the bay. The moon is high. Its reflection draws a silver path across the water, like a road out. For a second, you think about following it. Then you remember the forts, the cannons, the guards. Nothing leaves without permission, and you realize Havana isn't only a place, it's an idea. The idea that total control is possible, that every movement can be tracked, every product taxed, every person classified, numbered, placed. And that idea didn't die in 1760, it just changed clothes. Today we live inside systems, global logistics, cargo tracking, automatic taxes, digital surveillance, every airport scanner, every tracked package at your door, every algorithm deciding what you can or can't do. That's a piece of Havana, because what Havana learned wasn't only how to move sugar, it learned how to move everything, how to turn chaos into order, how to turn freedom into profit. The 1760 ledger became an Excel sheet, but the logic is the same. Nothing enters unless it's counted. So here's the question. What other city lived like this? What other place worked like a giant safe, a machine of control? So well designed it felt impossible to shut off. Tell me in the comments. There are dozens of historical cities that deserve to be rebuilt, seen from the inside, understood for real.